Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Piglet here once again and I'm back for some more of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo Switch, and of course Nintendo 3DS. So last time we actually did tackle Buddy Forms of continuation on episode 3, to be able to actually tackle through levels 19 all the way up to level 26. So naturally we've only done 8 levels throughout, just like the ones in the last video of any sorts. But even then though, because we really need to be able to do like 2 run-throughs, mainly in level 22 for example, that I need to be able to get the mission objective accomplished and over with before I get these 3 gems last of all. So anyways though, so today for this episode is going to be a true finale, not the actual true finale of this Let's Play, but the finale of the main adventure. See Fernando, that's we've only got 2 more levels left, so let's get started right there. See Fernando, let's get to it with level 27, Scuttling Skyfold Sinkhole. So yeah, you remember the likes of Ghost Gallery Gambit, but in forms of level 21. It's basically the exact same level as the likes of how it does in the previous level, except it's all in lava themed. See Fernando, and also we're going to be playing as Toadette for the, let's just say, the final time for this particular episode. But, well, usually for this particular episode 3 itself. See Fernando, because of that, well, after that, then we might actually go come back into Toad's perspective right there. See Fernando, you can definitely tell why once we actually just proceed to this level alone. So, one of the main huge emphasis on this particular level itself is the fact that, well, again, as I mentioned to you earlier, the dangerous hazard will always start to rise up. So if you know that you need to go all the way up to the top of the tower as quickly as you can, and then if you don't make it just in time, then you have to redo the entire level over and over again. Although, thankfully though, we don't have to worry about the forms of those narrow paths of any sorts, unlike the ones in level 21. But even then, though, it's still a little bit tricky for the most part, though, especially noticeable if you want to do both tasks all in one go, like the forms of collecting coins and especially those 3 other gems to be collected for. And not to mention with the camera controls that you have to work on with. And I'm pretty sure enough, though, is the fact that I'm pretty sure you can able to actually do this no problem for if you want to able to do this way or not. But even then, though, that's as far as I was trying to say about that. So, but no, what makes this level so difficult in comparison to the likes of level 21, for instance, to me, the fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that, oh, I almost died there. And, yeah, let's just ignore these diamonds for now on, though, or these gems. Oh, shoot. Great. It looks like I will blame my camera for that, so even then I'll try that again. And plus, I lost my progressioning from my coins department, so... But again, I don't think you can able to do this level within a first attempt on both the gem collecting and the mission objective goes. Because of that, though, that if you manage to able to backtrack for a few seconds noticing, then you pretty much have to guarantee you would able to take a kill. So even then, that's one of the hardest things I've ever encountered in this particular game so far. Because of that though, because you know, it's very similar to the likes of level 21, although except the fact that we don't have to worry about these narrow stuff. The only time you do need to worry about it though, is the fact that there's gonna be a lot of these little pluck sprouts all over the place. And plus not to mention though, if you want to get the, you know, the stack of coins, then it's entirely up to you. But even then, I suggest you go for the bonus objective. Well, at least as far as the mission objective goes. Speaking of the mission objective, is the fact that in this mission, in this level anyway, we need to collect about roughly 200 coins, which is quite a lot in comparison to the likes of the previous levels. But even then, though, they accept the fact that, well, I don't know about that, but anyways. There's no point to get that second gem right from the start, though, because the lava is now taking over, so... But again, I will come back for the gems after the first run through on this level, though. So, there we go. That's more like it. Because of that, though, I, you know, almost get screwed over by the camera controls and stuff like that. Or it's just my camera perspectives and stuff like that for that nature. So, there we go. Once you reach over 200 coins, in fact, I've got 208 coins. So that way we could able to, you know, just trying to get the mission accomplished. And yes, just like the ones in the end of book 1, that this time around though, Wingo managed to kidnap Toadette in addition to the Power Star itself. So even though it's kind of like the exact same scenes between each other, although except the fact that takes place in a different environment and all that stuff. So there we go, mission is accomplished, and now we need to hit back into this level for a final time. Oh, before we get into this, however, though, we're gonna be able to deal with the Mummy Me's returns again. And thankfully, though, it's actually right next to the actual level I was supposed to get back into. So, you know, you get the idea. See, Venendo, let's try to get some more of these 1-ups, why not? See, Venendo, because of that, again, because you can able to actually just temporarily stun the blue shy guys after all, no problem this time around, though, because even then, in the Wii U version and the 3DS versions of the game, you have to be sure you need to able to, you know, pull out the stylus out and able to actually use the touchscreen and all that stuff, which can be a little bit awkward, I will admit though right away. But I digress, so let's go ahead and just move on to the next part, because I really can't guarantee to able to actually get all the coins as much as I can though. But on the plus side though, that we've actually got quite enough as far as this goes, so today was actually forms of the 30th of July in 2018. So even though we've only got 2 more days to go, and during the likes of the next month, which should be August. So that should be worth mentioning though, and especially noticeable how the fact that, well, you guys know the drill here. So, oh, do I think I can make it to that highest coin amount? Oh, so close to get that over 500 coins in total on that specific attempt. Only about 8 coins off from that. Oh well, what can you do? But hey, at least we can able to actually get as many 1-ups as possible, as you can see right there on the top left corner of the screen. But I don't think you can see it right now, because we're now going to be jumping into this level again for the final time. But this time around though, we're going to need to collect these final 2 gems. Thankfully though, if you manage to, like, you know, rush things up for a little bit, then you would able to potentially try to get those last 2 gems no problem. Like, even then though, you don't have to worry about the coins for your second run through, or in this case the 3rd run through, because I've accidentally died on my first attempt on this level because of the camera's depth perception, and that's what I can really guess about this. See, Fernando, yeah, okay, oh my god, there we go. And let's just hurry this up, because, well, the second gem was obviously down here, so there we go. And now for the 3rd and final gem we need to collect, and it's gonna be somewhere onto that specific spot, just onto the left side here. Because if you unplug that, then there we go. The 3rd and final gem is being collected in this level in particular. So yeah, we've only got 3 more gems to go. At least if you ever play this on the Wii U version, well, we'll get to that in a bit shortly afterwards. See, Fernando, because of that, I'll be showing you guys the 2 variations of these 2 different endings between, let's just say both the Wii U version, and let's just skip that because we've already seen that scene. And because of that though, I'll be showing off the Wii U ending first, the Ultimate Treasure. So this means we have ourselves the true final level in the forms of book number 3, Wingo's Whackdown. And I believe this might actually be the final boss of the game. Hey Wingo, how's it going again? Sure, you look a bit more intimidating as far as the actual page image as far as it will go. Alright, so here we go, but in forms of level 28, in the forms of book number 3. In fact, the matter is though, is the fact that, well, this might actually be the final boss in the game. Well, we haven't exactly got to that point yet because, well, just like in the forms of Wingo's Watchtower, is the fact that we need to go all the way up to the top of the actual level before we deal on with the forms of the final battle and the forms of this particular game itself. So even then though, because of that, this might actually be the final time we're going to be seeing Wingo in this game, because afterwards, then we'll never see him live from again. Well, until when it gets to like Super Mario Odyssey, that how the fact that during the Lost Kingdom, how the fact that once you find Captain Toad, Captain Toad did actually mention or reference the forms of the Wingo as far as the actual giant bird managed to kidnap me, as far as I'm usually concerned about this reference. So, if that's the case, then yeah, that's all I can really talk about for that point right there. So, anyways, though, I just want to point things out right away, though. The fact of the matter is, though, is that I've already mentioned about the fact that we've already got ourselves WarioWare Gold recently on the Nintendo 3DS, and I'm also able to actually get myself WarioWare Inc. for the Game Boy Advance. Well, I would seem to say for the cartridge-only version of that game, but the fact of the matter is, though, is that I've already got WarioWare Inc. Mega Party games on the Nintendo GameCube, which plays exactly like the Game Boy Advance counterpart, except it was on the console instead of like the handheld mode. But I don't really mind to have both versions of the game, like I can able to actually play the game on my own time on my Nintendo GameCube version, and once I've got enough practice on the forms of that, I'm actually going to be doing some of these WarioWare Let's Plays. Well, there's only like 3 or 2 exceptions, mind you, which there are, well, actually a few exceptions, but in forms of WarioWare Twisted, because it utilizes the gyroscope controls, and I still haven't got that game, and as far as I've heard, WarioWare Twisted is easily one of the most expensive WarioWare games to ever start a release. Especially noticeable that it's only been released on the forms of Japan, North America, and Australia versions, but it was never released in United Kingdom, because as far as I'm aware, I don't know about any of these descriptions to able to actually say about the fact that why WarioWare Twisted never saw the light of day on the United Kingdom. I don't know about you, but even then, that's just how I think, so... Anyway, though, and yeah, I might as well able to do a Let's Play of WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania on the Game Boy Advance, but I need to get the Wii U downloadable version of that game, so just in case I can get some experiences on the Game Boy Advance, but I need to get some practice on the GameCube version of WarioWare Inc. So even then, that makes it pretty obvious there, or in this case, WarioWare Incorporated. So, yeah, I might as well figure this out, and might as well do a Let's Play of WarioWare Touched, because, you know, the Wii U eShop version did manage to get that game on the Wii U eShop version, so even then, if that's the case, then it makes it pretty obvious. So, and what else is also in there? Oh yeah, WarioWare DIY, in this case, WarioWare DIY Showcase, because I was able to do WarioWare Do-It-Yourself, but the game utilizes the bottom screen most of the time, and then it doesn't seem to have a re-release in the forms of any other Virtual Console versions, other than, you know, WarioWare Incorporated Minigame Mania for the Game Boy Advance, or Mega Micro Games and stuff like that, and especially noticeable with the forms of WarioWare Touched for the Nintendo DS, and also WarioWare Smooth Moves, which I could potentially try and do a redo Let's Play on that one, or in this case, we'll have to do a redo Let's Play on that game, because even then, well, we'll get to that more details as soon as we're able to actually discuss upon plans and all that stuff, so... No! Are you kidding me? The camera screwed me over. And because of that, I was 7 minutes. Screw you. Alright, let's try this again. Because of that, though, I wasn't able to actually appreciate it about the... Fuck. Alright, I'm doing this for one part right there, so I wasn't able to... You freaking little... That's it. I'm gonna kill myself right there. Oh, jeez. I can't remember how many times I do die in this level, though. And to make matters worse than that is the fact that, if you want to able to actually just, you know, trying to get back into the level where you're trying to get from it, and especially noticeable how the fact that, well, again, most like the ones in, well, as far as I've noticed something, like, for example, Battle Tower Blitz, how the fact that if you accidentally die on that specific level alone, if you want to get those coins, desperately, then the fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that you need to do the entire collectathon over and over again, just in case if you want to get those coins remaining. And, yeah, it's just a little bit tricky for the most part, though. Definitely one of the more difficult Wingo Tower levels of any sort, because as you expected, this is just the final main level, especially noticeable by the fact that, well, we haven't got into the actual secret levels just yet, though, because, well, we haven't got to that point yet, though, so... Oh my god, that was really close to get blown off right there. So, I consider that the bonus objective on the actual mission of this particular mission at the level itself, basically we need to collect a certain amount of coins, which I won't guarantee I get that higher enough though, but we'll definitely find things out after this final boss of the game. So here we go, folks. This is the forms of the true final boss in the game for reals this time around, and that's the forms of Wingo, the rematch incarnation of Wingo. Basically, he behaves exactly like how he does it from before, except the fact he does have his new attacks, by the forms of summoning those electrical currents, and especially noticeable by the forms of how the fact that, well, he's still able to drop these bigger veggies at you, and even then, that once again, you're gonna have to chuck the bigger veggies at the Wingo, and then if you manage to deal that, then you would able to deal a certain amount of damage. So even then, that, well, it's basically, this particular boss, it feels exactly like how it does it from the previous encounter with him, but except the fact that it's a little bit more tougher now, because as you can see in the actual stage arena, well, he takes down these rail guards, because even then, that because of that, if you get blown off back by the wind, if you do fall off instantly, then you have to go all the way back down to the bottom. So even then, that makes it a little bit of a more of a difficult incarnation of the forms of Wingo himself, which I understand that, because even then, that, you know, this is a definition of the final boss in the game, so yeah, you get the idea. Alright, so let's go ahead and deal with this last veggie tossing, and booyah, there we go. So in truth, the actual Wingo boss fight's not that bad. It's just that you have to watch over by the forms of his attacks that he summons you of, by the forms of the electrical currents, and yeah, once again he explodes into pieces, and once again Toadette and the actual Power Star just managed to get in down to the actual plethora of coins and gold. So yeah, let's just unplug Toadette out, in addition to the Power Star itself as well. So yeah, you get the idea that this ending feels remarkably similar to the likes of Book 1, except, well, the different music has been playing through. Because of that, we've pretty much done with the rest of the game. Because of that, though, now we can able to actually get the glory, happy, cute, and adorable, you know, animations for both, you know, Toad and Toadette having fun together. And there we go. That concludes Captain Toad Treasure Tracker as far as the actual, main game itself. But even then, because of that though, we haven't really finished up with the entire game just yet though, because aside from that, well, there's going to be still more variety in them. So even then though, I guess I'll probably talk about the overall of my final thoughts of the game. Well, I just get this horrible feeling about the fact that as far as the mission objective goes in Wingo's Whackdown, in fact, the matter is, though, is that I need to probably collect it about, like, let's just say, 210 coins, or 230, or 220 coins, which I might as well able to actually just go back to that level for a final time. But even then, though, that we can get definitely guaranteed by the fact that we can able to fully conclude the forms of episode 3 as far as that's been concerned of, mainly book 3. So yeah, the staff credit sequence feels exactly like how it does it from the first credit sequence, except, well, you can definitely see why until we actually get to the very close towards the end of the staff credit sequences and stuff like that. That, if you couldn't tell, that the fact that, well, that Wingo, that as far as we already defeat him from before, well, I'm considering he's now going to be twice as much more fatter than the likes of how it does it from previously. So yeah, what can I say about that, huh? But even then, that's just how I think it is. And you can see the whole bunch of toads there, but that's just how it is as far as this is concerned. First, the Wii U version. So, if you ever played the Wii U version of the game, then you would expect it to be able to actually see the exact same setup as far as the first ending goes, except that, well, since this game did originally came out in 2014, Captain Toad managed to spotted this sparkling green star coming from the out of skies, and, you know, Captain Toad managed to go after it. And meanwhile, Toadette just managed to left behind onto the actual minecart. So, sorry Toadette fans, but you're probably not going to join in. Other than that, we actually got the end sequence. But I wonder what that green star actually leads us to, I wonder. Well, this cutscene looks familiar. It appears to be something that's more likely a... Well, you know, the exact same cutscene as how it does it in Super Mario 3D World, as far as you can see right there. Like, we've got Mario, Luigi, Peach, and of course Blue Toad incarnation of him. And I can assume that if you remember playing Super Mario 3D World, that normally these four characters usually speak to each other whenever they come across into a clear pipe, plus the actual Sprinkly right there, or Sprinkly Princess. And not to mention that it also includes Bowser in this particular ending image. But again, this only happens on the Wii U version just because, you know, Super Mario 3D World did manage to came out on the Nintendo Wii U back in 2013, which is almost 5 years for this point. And you probably realize about something is the fact that the lighting in this scene is actually a lot more different than the likes of how it does in the official Super Mario 3D World's opening scene. And what's also different is the fact that Mario and Luigi doesn't usually speak to each other, unlike the ones in Super Mario 3D World's counterparts, because even then, the only characters they do speak of is the forms of Blue Toad and Princess Peach at the same time, but as for Mario and Luigi, they don't speak. So even then, they just been gone completely silent, which I don't know why. Meanwhile, Captain Toad managed to traverse through the clear pipe. I see, so the reason why this scene is existence because this is actually a prequel to Super Mario 3D World, so the adventure continues in Super Mario 3D World. So yeah. Now for the Nintendo Switch / the 3DS versions. So it shows the exact same thing, but instead of just actually landing onto the grassy field Mushroom Kingdom environment, instead it was actually being replaced as the forms of this familiar location, which appears to be a desert of any sorts, but ultimately is the forms of Sand Kingdom, because I say that because the green star is being replaced as the Odyssey ship by the forms of Super Mario Odyssey, because I'm presuming this might actually be a mid-quel to Super Mario Odyssey of how the fact that why Captain Toad was in that game. So once again we have to leave Toadette behind on the minecart, but again, the adventure continues in Super Mario Odyssey. But again, this only happens on the Nintendo Switch versions, and whilst in the 3DS versions, well, it plays exactly like how it does on the Switch version. So because of that, in the next episode anyway, I'm actually going to be doing in both versions, which are, yeah, I've somehow managed to miss that mission objective, which as far as I'm aware, I'm actually going to be coming back into that just about any second. So, there we go, that concludes book number 3, and yeah, after we're completely done with episode 3, then we get ourselves the bonus book as being unlocked. But I'm probably not going to do that on the other hand though, folks, because I'll save that up for the next video because of that. Also, beyond that, I need to able to actually accomplish the final mission in book number 3. So, yeah, this could be take a lot more time to work on with, especially noticeable by the fact that, like, the grand total of 220 coins, that just seems way too much as far as I'm aware for that. But, as far as I usually realize about something is the fact that, it usually contains, like, some hidden coins around here. Especially noticeable with the forms of those really well hidden, golden mushrooms here and there as well. So that's why I need to able to replay this level again for the final time anyway. As far as this Let's Play goes. So, yeah, as far as I'm aware though, as I mentioned it to you guys before again, how the fact that Super Mario 3D World levels in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker only happens on the Wii U version, but if you play this on the Nintendo Switch and the 3DS versions, then you get yourself Super Mario Odyssey levels, which even then, because of that though, I'm afraid they, between both versions of the game, well, usually 3 versions of this game, normally they only have like 4 levels in each Mario's previous adventures or something like that. Like, we've only got, like, well, we'll get to that point until we get to the next video. Because of that, though, I'll just, manage to able to concentrate on this particular final mission objective will go. And then, as a result for that addition, then we'll just, end things off for this video. So even then, though, after that, then we'll get into the most exciting part of the game, which is the forms of the, Super Mario 3D World levels and Super Mario Odyssey levels. There's also some alternatives ways to able to actually unlock those two levels all in their respective different systems, like the forms of, well, in order to actually get to the Super Mario 3D World levels in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Wii U version, is that you need to able to get yourselves your save data created on Super Mario 3D World, whilst the forms of the Nintendo Switch version and the 3DS version of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is that in order to actually unlock you know, the Super Mario Odyssey levels, you can actually do two different methods you can able to deal with when it comes to unlocking Super Mario Odyssey levels on that, between these two versions of the game. For one, you can either just manage to play through the game normally, as you can see from the actual, video, side of things, how the fact that we actually did manage to, like, you know, play through, episodes 1, episode 2, and episode 3, or book 1, or book 2, or book 3, whatever you want to call it that, and that's how you're essentially able to unlock Super Mario Odyssey levels. Or, alternatively, if you manage to, purchase yourselves the Super Mario Odyssey amiibos, by the forms of Wedding Mario, Wedding Peach, or Wedding Bowser, then you would able to actually unlock the majority of the Super Mario Odyssey levels from the get-go. So even then though that, well, that's the thing I liked about the forms of how the fact that with some of these stuff you get from the get-go. But even then though, that is unfortunately rather, sorry for a little bit of attention there. Sadly I don't have those Super Mario Odyssey amiibos, sadly, which even then, I could wish I just want to get those, but the only thing is, though, nowadays, is the fact that these amiibos are really, really hard to find right now. Even especially noticeable by the forms of how the fact with that, well, especially compared to how it does it, like, after all, we've only got a few more amiibo lineups coming up thanks to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on its way, and especially noticeable with the forms of how the fact that I would have appreciated if I was going to be able to do the Metroid, you know, Metroid Marathon on my own time. So that way I can able to actually experience the Metroid Fusion difficulty on Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS. So, even then, aside from that though, that's what I can really say about this for the most part though. So yeah, let's just get into the actual final thoughts of the forms of, well, I won't guarantee I'm probably not gonna do the final thoughts of the game yet, because obviously there's still some more extra stuff of how this game offers for pretty much all three versions of the game, which even then though, that could be something worth mentioning. So that's just how it is for me though, so even then though, yeah. And also I'm really excited but when it comes to the UK's release of the forms of Mario Kart Arcade GP VR, by the way, because until when it gets to August the 3rd, then we can actually now finally experience the virtual reality game of Mario Kart Arcade GP VR, means that we can now finally able to actually experience the game on the arcade zones and all that stuff, which I'm really happy about, because even then though, I've been waiting for that for quite some time now. Granted though, it's already came out on Japan last year, so if that's the case, then I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, that's what I can really say about the forms of the actual bonus levels that you get from between one of those versions of the game, which are essentially like, you know, the Wii U version you can only get is the forms of the Super Mario 3D World levels, because obviously Super Mario 3D World only came out on the Nintendo Wii U in 2013, and then this game did originally came out in 2014 on the Wii U, and then you get on the Nintendo Switch versions and the forms of the 3DS versions of the game, then you get yourself Super Mario Odyssey levels instead of the Super Mario 3D World levels, because, you know, Super Mario Odyssey only came out on the Nintendo Switch in 2017, and then in this year we've got both versions of the game for the Switch and the 3DS versions all at the same day. Which even then though, that maybe seems the case, because even then though that, well, as far as I can usually say about the actual, well, before timelines, or in this case the actual like, well, basically that's, you know, you get the idea. So I believe that pretty much does it for this video at this point, because as you can see, I've now finally managed to accomplish the mission objective now. So even then, I've got myself 226 coins right now. So even then, let's just say this much, we're going to leave things off for just about when you see Captain Toad and Toadette having this lovely little dance about the forms of how they got a lovely glorious gold. So anyways though, we got the ending stuff here, so join me next time on Let's Play Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. It's the thought that we're going to be doing a duology of the forms of these bonus stages that you get from both versions, Super Mario 3D World levels and Super Mario Odyssey levels, all in one video. Steve Fernando, tune me next time for that. So see you guys then. Later fellas.